I believe we are now officially live. So if you are here, welcome and good to have you all here. We are always excited to preach the truth and to preach the message that we so vigorously live by. For everyone who is a first-time viewer or new around the block, my name is Diego. You probably know me off of some entertainment scheme or platform, but for me, it's very important I express the message that goes behind all my entertainment and that goes behind all my confidence that I portray on social media. And joined with me is someone who has seen me in the flesh do what I do, lived alongside me doing what I do, and also showing insane levels of dedication and discipline to live a life that as men we should all strive to live. So, Corey, thanks for joining me again twice in a week now, and we have another opportunity to speak to the beautiful people and tell them a message that a lot of people are too ignorant to hear, but some people hopefully will hear.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Especially because I know you in person from Playa, so it's like every time I see your face, like I told them last time, it's just like your energy comes into my brain and it makes me want to spread that energy out. I can't explain it. It's crazy. I want to wake up at like 4:30 like a.m. It's whenever it's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I hopped out at 4:30 this morning after getting about 3-4 hours sleep because I had to kick a gal out of my bed last night, and it was good. Let's just say that it felt good. And for me, sleep is great, but waking up at 4:30 is pure energy for me. It's like I can't wait to start with the day. Anyway, today's title for our chat, our level or lesson one of our mastermind series is the truth to breaking free. Now, people will think we're promoting some what's that film? We're breaking free. High School Musical shit. But in a matter of fact, it's a very serious matter because we're all kind of controlled and manipulated so much by society and don't want to accept the truth to mastering our own mind and to taking control of our mind. And I think it's very important that people get the message and begin to understand the message loud and clear. So that's what we're here to do today. And we're going to start off with talking about the importance of discipline. Discipline for me is one of the most important things that a man can obtain. And the reason being is that discipline is the key ingredient to anything being successful for a long service of time. So it's all well and good being super passionate and being super motivated to accomplish something. And a lot of my young success as a man came from my motivation and my passion to achieve certain things. However, the older I grew, the more I realized that discipline is an absolutely essential ingredient to actually have a long lasting success rate at certain things. And for that reason, I say, and a huge phrase I use is discipline over motivation. Discipline is something so hard to achieve because it relates in every aspect of your life. Where would you say discipline's really given you the edge in life and situations over maybe other men or other people?
Yeah, I mean we touched on this a bit last time, but it's like if you have the discipline that other people don't have, you're going to be ahead in every single metric, right? The people who, like, it's cliche, but the people who wake up early and get a start to the day are going to get a start to their day, right? And they're going to be able to accomplish more. The people who plan out their goals before the day starts are going to know exactly what they're doing. So they're going to have less wasted time scrolling Instagram. They're going to know exactly what they need to accomplish. The people who are disciplined enough to track their lifts in the gym, to track their calories when they're eating, like, they're going to get results because you have that discipline. So it's important just to stay on top of everything in your life and be regimented and professional, because you're going to be ahead of everyone who doesn't take the time to actually do that.
It's funny because you used a kind of expression when you said something there that was quite important. I think that people pick up on. You were saying like write your notes in the gym, like it's a boring thing to do. And the reality of it is a boring thing to do, and no one likes to do it. And that's what sets you out from the crowd. It's the things that you don't want to do that you're still able to do for the better of you. Now, I was a hater of writing notes in the gym. But the truth of it is, if you want to be serious, utterly serious in getting results in the gym, you need to track your progress. Now, it's not something I'll advocate for, because I also think there's something to be said that for going to the gym and working your hardest. But if you're especially planning towards like certain goals within that aspect, you need to take all precaution and all direction towards it. And that's where you said discipline comes in. Actually, I think the gym is a super overrated place, because it's very easy to go in the gym, pump a few weights and release loads of testosterone, and then go and shower and go home. But actually, the discipline to do what you said, make a plan, stick to the plan, make sure you finish the workout, make sure you're doing the exercises you don't like to do, that work the muscles you don't like. For me, an example is I've always hated back day, probably because I've had predominantly back problems, but making sure I treat it with the same care and intensity as I would with chest day. So discipline is massive about doing things you don't want to do. And to touch on a point I said before, it's not only a leader or a massive factor into success, but also the longevity of it. When you can really focus your discipline and accomplish a high level of discipline, it creates good habits. And what good habits have had a massive impact in my life is where when you create a good habit out of something, it actually becomes easy. So let's say I'm really struggling to eat good food, and I force myself, I really push myself to consistently eat good food until it becomes a good habit, until I wake up and I just know that I'm having avocados and egg for breakfast and chicken and broccoli for dinner. I just know that's my diet and that's what I'm eating. Then when that becomes easy for me to do, it allows me to put more of my energy and focus more of my energy into harder things and really excel my life. Now, as a man, I think that the really important bits of your life are taking care of your body, taking care of your nutrition and your health. And that's a great foundation to build great businesses also off of, to become a super high value and high income earning man. So what good habits have you created from personal experience? I could sit here and talk for years about the good habits that I have in my life now, to be arrogant, but to be honest, what would you say of the tricks to creating good habits have helped you within your success of becoming an entrepreneur and becoming a man who's in shape and being successful, becoming successful in aspects of your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. There's no tricks. You just got to do it, right? Like, like if I plan out a morning routine and I actually get that stuff done, like I'm stacking wins in the day. So that's a big one for me. Like if I know exactly what time I'm going to wake up, I have just switched my circadian rhythm. Like I was waking up at 9, maybe 10, maybe depending on the night, and I'm, trying to optimize my body and my mind and my business and everything now. So I've switched my circadian rhythm with the sun. I'm waking up at 5:30 every single day. And again, it sounds cliche, because I used to be that guy to wake up late and I was, stay up late. But now that I actually switched it and I have my morning routine, like I hop out of bed, immediately do 25 push-ups. And if I don't do 25 push-ups within 25 seconds of waking up, like that's what prevents me from hitting the snooze button. Now, I never had a problem with that, but like I use that as an example because a lot of people do have a problem with that. So it's like, just tell yourself, listen, 25 push-ups within 25 seconds of waking up, or, and then you have a goal for yourself instead of just being like, I'm tired. Should I go back to bed? Should I not? Right. So get out of bed, know what time, do push-ups, drink some water, take my supplements, like get everything done that I need to in the morning, and then be prepared for the day. I actually watch the sunrise now. So that's just part of my morning routine. So like stuff like that, planning out your day, like the day before. I will admit I could be a lot better with that, but I know that that's a big one as well.
Yeah, morning habits have been a massive factor into my success. I think morning habits, it's about, I read a book once called Eat That Frog, and it was all about doing the worst jobs, doing the stuff we didn't want to do in the morning. And I think there's definitely something to be said from that. But relating to what you said back to discipline, a lot of it's about doing the stuff you don't like doing. And there's a big misconception. I've forgotten to speak English, apparently. There's a big misconception regarding success in this day and age, where people think that success is owed to us or success is achievable with ease. And there's a lot that to be said, as I keep on saying, for actually doing stuff we don't want to do and actually struggling with it. It's a huge part of success. No one says it's going to be easy, and no one said it should be easy either. Some of the most fruitful things in this life are the hardest things to actually accomplish, and that's what makes it so amazing. Moving on to another factor that I think has a huge part to play in psychological and physical success is emotional control. Now, emotional control is something I've worked on for years and years and years, and that's why I feel so amazing that I can actually sit here and preach this message to a crowd of people. Emotional control is one of the absolute key recipes to success. When you stop allowing emotions to affect your movements, your judgments, your decisions, you are reducing massively the room for failure and mistakes. And now I'm a big advocate for failure. I believe that people should fail as much as possible. But when you have a high level of emotional control, you are allowing the quickest journey and the most direct route to success and to achieving what it is you want to achieve. I mean, the importance of emotional control is huge. What would you say to men out there that are allowing their emotions to really affect them negatively, make decisions for them, direct their brains? What would you say to them in terms of, let's be a bit harsh on this one. Let's give them a harsh reality that emotional control really brings to light.
Yeah, I'm laughing because this is something that we hit on like it's the first thing that we hit on inside of the truth, just because like you have to be on top of your emotional control in order to have control over your mind, right? In this day and age, there's so many distractions. There's so much, also hate just in the world. There's so many like you as a man, you have to be on top of your emotional control and how you respond to certain things, because that's the only thing you can change. You can't change what happens, but you can change how you respond to what happens. And if you respond negatively, that's going to impact your energy for maybe the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the week. And you can control whether you respond positively to a situation. For example, if a girl on a date does something that you don't like, and you just react, right? Maybe you lose frame on that date, and that's a negative implication, right? Or in a business environment as well. Maybe you react to something that gets done, and then you lose a relationship that could have made you a lot of money. So it's like, to have that level of discipline, not over just your life, but also of your mind, is what opens up other opportunities for you, because so many people lack that. And so you stand out if you have that level of professionalism is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head a few times there. It's important that we actually realize, and there's a lot of physical attributes that we have that deludes us as people, because our brain is in our head. We imagine we have full control and full ownership of it, but the truth is that a lot of people neglect their brains and let their brains control them, as opposed to taking full, as I say, ownership and accountability for your brain. We have a question from Kuwain Skolma, great name, in the comments. Said, I would love to hear you guys saying about mindset, or talking about mindset, how to eliminate the limit belief. By limit belief, I presume, Kwan, you're talking about someone who struggles to actually have that self-belief and self-confidence. And it's funny because a huge part of the process of ownership in your mind and breaking free by using the truth and having the truth is confidence. Confidence is a hugely underrated factor, because the way people view confidence in this light, and we're going to go into huge detail about it in a bit, is very much, is someone outside smiling, laughing, joking, and being super loud, when confidence has so many different aspects to it, and it's really developed down under. And it's what we do inside of the truth that's so important, that's really ignored in society, which is self-development, and people diving in to a place that they haven't visited in their whole human life, to start to understand and build a core that is so flipping strong that when you face or are faced with problems and situations in your life, you're able, or you have all the ammunition you need to deal with them appropriately. And then you become a man who is just destined for utter success in anything you take on and anything you face within your life. So to eliminate that limit belief that you're talking about, it's definitely about building your persona and achieving and unlocking that self-confidence through all these other attributes. As I say, we're going to touch on hugely in a bit. And that's a huge part of the truth. Now, you've been involved in the truth for a long time, Corey, and I think you add so much value to it in there, having another icon where they can loads. What would you say to someone almost hesitant to take that responsibility within themselves, to admit and to really take accountability for them not achieving and living the life to the quality they should be living?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a decision, and that's where
It's
discipline
easy. It's a
comes
step,
in, right?
right?
Literally, like, are you going to decide to change things, or are you going to decide not to change things? Like, that's the decision you make every day. And so, if you spend too much time on Instagram, if you open up the settings in your phone and you find out you're spending 4 hours a day on Instagram or whatever, you have a decision to make. You can say, I'm going to cut that down, or you're not, right? And so it's one or the other, and then that extrapolates out to every single other part of life. I mean, if you are inside of the truth, you have all of the resources available to you and all the structure available to you to be able to be successful. You don't have to think, you just have to do, right? If you are doing it on your own, that's completely fine as well. You're gonna have to put a little bit more effort into like figuring out exactly how you want to approach, how you want to change, what you need to change. And so, I mean, there's plenty of ways to improve yourself, but it all comes down to actually making that decision that something needs to be
I
improved.
tell you what, my biggest problem is the ignorance that people have. You gave a great example about Instagram, right? And a lot of people look at that and go, I need to cut down on Instagram. And then they don't do any physical step to make the change, and they still expect things to change. It's the ignorance people have in this world to think that by not taking action, things are going to get better or things are going to change. It's the complete opposite. When you actually physically take action towards something, you're not even immediately changing things. You're giving yourself the chance. You still have to go and get every single day, but by being involved in the truth, we've created an unbelievable platform, and I wish there was an easier way to actually show people the quality and the intensity of the program, because we're giving it's almost a cheat code to really unlock your full potential. And if any guys are out there thinking or procrastinating on their life about taking action, thinking that they need to be doing more or achieving more, then there's no better place in the internet to do it. You have a group of like-minded individuals on a similar journey, and you have people in there that have accomplished everything you are looking to accomplish, and essentially worked incredibly hard to become a super valuable man. And I'm telling you guys now, and I'm looking you dead in your eyes wherever my webcam is, and telling you, if I'm able to do it, from the boy I was to the man I am, if I'm able to do it, it is so reachable and achievable, even if it doesn't seem like it. And that's a guarantee. That's actually a promise that I make, that it is achievable for every single person. Something we didn't touch on, but I touch on loads about character building, about breaking free, about understanding the truth, is self-respect. And again, something we talk about so much within the truth, but I don't understand and I can't comprehend how much self-respect is lacked in this day and age. We have no morals. We're able to almost spend our lives living guilt-free, but it eats away inside of us, and our mind is our biggest enemy because it sees everything. So we can sit here and hide our emotions and try and not take notice of what's going on. But the truth is, self-respect comes from taking action. When we become a man that does, when we become a go-getter, when we become a doer, when we become a man that does what we say we do, we immediately hold that level of respect for ourselves. And when you hold that level of respect for yourself, you're able to do so much more. When you respect yourself, you immediately have the confidence that goes with it that allows you to continuously do more. And it just goes round in a never-ending loop of essentially achievement, learning, and success. When you respect yourself, you'll start to demand so much more also from the people around you. I mean, we go on a journey as men, Corey, where we kind of grow up and we have high school friends and we have even lower school, primary school friends. It's called in England, like when you're 4, 5, 6, and you grow up and you grow away from some people, but some people really feel the need to hold on to some of these people. Now, for me, when I started to respect myself and understand myself a lot more, it became very apparent to me that there was a lot of things going on around me that didn't live up to my level of success. Now, I know you're a man that holds a high, huge level of self-respect and regard for himself, because you know how hard you've worked to become the man you are. What's the biggest change in your life you've seen from understanding your level of self-respect?
Yeah, I mean, when you hold yourself to the standard and you know that you've earned it, then you walk with a different stride. right? When you, it's like this, it's like the imposter syndrome thing, right? It's hard to fit into the shoes if you don't actually feel like you deserve it. So just go earn it, and then you deserve it, right? I would argue that imposter syndrome can't exist, because in order to get there, you have to pretend like you have to be there already. But if you're already there, then you already have that value. So it's like, I can pretend like I'm jacked if I'm not going to the gym, and I can pretend if I'm healthy, if I'm just eating Cheetos all day, right, and drinking soda, but I'm not. And so in order to actually have that level of confidence and feel that good, I have to change my habits and change my lifestyle and actually do that. And then when I'm there, I'm like, no, I'm actually living this. And then that confidence is instilled. It's the same thing like with with anything, with business. It's like with a scarcity mindset, if you're not getting any sales and you're in sales, then it's going to be hard to try to make a sale, because it's going to seem like you really want it and they're going to pick up on that energy, right? But if you actually are a killer salesman and you're closing a lot of deals, you're going to become a little detached, and the sales are just going to come to you naturally, because you know your value, you're already there. And if they don't want what you're selling, then that's fine with them, because there's plenty of other people waiting for you. So if you approach your life with that kind of a mindset and a mentality, then you will see that success. And once you are actually at that level of success, then it's just going to come naturally, because you earned it.
Yeah, it's so funny to hear what you say. Actually, sometimes when I'm not saying it directly and I'm listening to you say it, it's like, wow, people still insist in neglecting the truth. People still neglect every truth to their life because they're so scared to actually step outside the system and start to accomplish things that is so achievable. It's not even like you risk your life when you step into this place. You just unlock the code to freedom and allow yourself to be free. So it's so funny hearing from a third person perspective how people can be the level of ignorant they are to not understand and comprehend it. Something I found super strange about self-respect, and I really want to get onto talking about confidence because it's a huge part of my life, and a lot of people ask me about it, right? The thing with self-respect is we actually don't understand the level we hold for ourselves, because I give example a lot. If you promise someone you're going to do something, right? If I promise you that I was going to deliver this important piece of information, whatever I promised you, and I don't do it, you'd lose respect for me. Naturally, that's how the world works. Now, you can say I'd forgive you, whatever, fine. No, you'd lose respect for me, and rightfully so. If I cannot keep my word, I don't expect you to hold the same regard and level of respect for me as a man. However, we continuously, fail on our own word that we give to ourselves. I'm going to say this morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go to the gym, and then I don't go to the gym. What we don't realize is just because it's internal, we still lose that level of self-respect for ourselves, and then diminish ourselves and start to hang around with lower level people. And it's that downward spiral that people keep getting caught up in again and again and again. You have to hold the same regard and level of self-respect and respect you have for yourself and your word that you give yourself as you do for other people. It's super important that we treat ourselves with the same level of care and respect, and it will allow you to unlock a new, almost secret power within your life. And one of the secret powers that I talk about consistently is confidence, and confidence is the key to so much. Confidence is the key to freedom. But confidence is not something you wake up and get out of bed one morning and say, oh, I'm going to be confident, I'm going to put on my makeup and walk around the street and feel beautiful. Girls have an unbelievably misguided view about confidence, and guys are starting to get in to that shit as well. The truth of it is that confidence is a working matter. Confidence is something you do repeatedly. Confidence is something you practice repeatedly to build up, so you can live a life without fear of judgment, without fear of someone else's opinion who doesn't care about you. And confidence has given something to me massively. Confidence has allowed me to trust myself. And now I'm faced where if I have to do anything on a day-to-day basis, whatever it is, something that I'm not happy with, something that I don't know a lot about, something that I'm maybe even uncomfortable with, I can happily put myself in that situation because I know I can swim. I know I can float. I know I'll be able to survive in the said matter because I trust myself to get through it no matter what. Why do you think people struggle with confidence so much? Because it's a huge problem. Even the most confident people you aesthetically see will be lying to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, people are scared to fail. That's just the only reason. I mean, when you're talking about like approaching women, like they're scared to get rejected. Like that's the scare. Like I like to think of it as if you hold yourself, it's like the imposter syndrome I mentioned. If you pretend that you're there, you're gonna get there. It's like if you've never been on a crazy, let's say a crazy yacht, right? Huge yacht, you get invited to a millionaire's party and you've never been there. If you're getting on the yacht and like taking videos and saying like, this is so cool, thank you guys so much for inviting me, right? Like this is awesome, and you don't know how to act, then they're gonna perceive you as kind of someone who doesn't really deserve to be on that boat, right? If you hop on the boat and you are extremely confident in yourself and you pretend like you've been there before, even if you haven't, say, yeah, you know, this is it's a good business meeting, a very, very good boat, whatever, right? Then they're gonna have that perceived value of you. It's gonna be different. It's like that kind of confidence or that ability to keep your composure in any situation can open up more doors than it will take away by failing. Like I said, a good example is like approaching women. It's like, you know, what's the worst that could happen? One, they tell you no, and if you don't make a decision, then you never have the data point in the first place, and you never even go talk to them in the first place.
Yeah,
So people think of the worst case scenario
is incredibly
instead of what might happen. You know,
incredibly misled and misunderstood. Failure is literally the key recipe to being successful,
yeah.
and it's all about the way you process it. Because if you're a weak person, you're going to take failure and let it beat the shit out of you. But if you're an insanely strong person that's done a lot of self-development work, then you can take failure and use it as your baseball bat to hit home runs. And that's the best analogy to it. Now, we don't actually talk a lot. We're talking loads about self-development, but let's relate to Diego's speciality of talking to women and landing beautiful women, and stealing everyone else's beautiful woman. Confidence is insanely attractive, like probably the most attractive thing ever. And the reason I know that is because I have friends, even we have friends together, mutual friends that are not the best looking guys, not even the tallest, different aesthetic, different type of people that can land beautiful, beautiful girls. And in Mexico, I think it's the great place that we've shared to call home, because we've seen every type of relationship. We've seen short guys with 6-foot Argentinian goddesses. And the truth of it is that confidence is the most attractive thing possible to a man, aside from appearance and aesthetic. As an ugly man, I promise you can manipulate your beauty to land an insanely beautiful woman. So it's a little side note that I'll take off the importance of confidence within our lives and within our lives to achieve great things. But let's not forget, a part of a man's life is also talking to women and communicating with women. And one thing you can do as a man is land beautiful women just from having a high level of confidence, and that comes from that self-implementation, that work you do within yourself. Please, guys, do not underestimate the power of confidence. And more importantly, relating it back to our title that we have on today's session, which is the truth about freedom and freeing up your mind, is confidence for me is the start to that freedom. Yes, there's a lot of action that it takes and involves to really reach the highest level of freedom. Of course, money is a big factor in it. But I think it starts in your mind rather than externally. And when you start within your mind and achieve that level of freedom internally, reduce or release yourself from the judgment of everyone else, it allows you to be much, much happier, and it allows you to think much clearer. And freedom, I think, is the goal. Is the goal for everyone. Yes, money is a part of that, and self-development is a huge part of that. And confidence is the core center to becoming free in your mind and within the way you live your life. Let's say levels of confidence, going back to when we were young. I think a lot of us men were insecure younger, even if we don't think it, even if we were loud or whatever, that there was a lot insecurities when we were younger. What's the biggest difference that you're able to live within your life? Now you're an extremely confident man. I mean, I know it. I've seen it firsthand. You're a confident man that will take action on whatever you want to do, right? As opposed to whatever other people would want you to do. What's the biggest difference you've had in your life specifically from now and when you were maybe lacking the same level of confidence when you were a lower value of man?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to what I said earlier. It's helped me hone in my networking skills like times 1,000. Just being able to pull up to any environment and just adapt to the situation, be confident, even if I'm surrounded in a room full of multi, 100 millionaires, right? Or centimillionaires. Like I'm not a centimillionaire yet, right? But I can act proper in that kind of environment, and I can keep my composure, and that kind of confidence to be able to adapt to any kind of environment has made me more money than, if I was just, like, it's good to listen and observe, but if you don't have like a level of confidence, you lose a level of composure, right? So I think that's the biggest area in my life where I've seen that level of confidence really take into effect. But I will say for sure, like around women, like they don't care. Like you can manipulate your beauty, as you said, to be good enough as a guy, and just the confidence will take you to the next level. Like every single time, if you hone in on that, then like, yeah, even if you're not her type, even if there's the other flaws, like all you need is the confidence aspect. And then you need to look good, of course, go to the gym, stay disciplined in those aspects. But if you take care of yourself and are confident, then
for sure, it's almost laughable where guys use their looks as an excuse, and I'm like, if you'd seen what my eyes had seen, you would not be using your looks as an excuse. I've literally traveled the world and seen in every single country really ugly fucking guys. Bang.
Let me make one more point, that it's a lot of people say women like money. It's not the money that they like. It's the lifestyle that comes with the money, because you can be so confident when you have that money. If you just like can throw $1,000 down on the table, like 10,000, whatever scale you're at, and just have that confidence, that's what she likes. She doesn't care about the actual like number of dollar bills. She cares about your energy, and the money gives you that kind of energy because you don't have scarcity.
Yeah. Something that is amazing, I'm so excited to do for the first time on this series, is actually bring someone from our platform in our program in. So we run a almost a competition on The Truth that allows someone to get on these live calls that we're having and allow someone to talk to us on our YouTube live. And I'm super happy with the person who's won this week's competition to come on and talk to us, because he's someone who's actually been in The Truth for a very, very long time, and I've seen firsthand his life change and grow so much into what I'd say a man, and a man who's gaining a lot of value and a lot of understanding for this world, to a level where he's now actually working alongside me, because of his level of growth and understanding. So I'm gonna get him. Hopefully, he should be joining any second in this link. So Nav, if you want to join in now, and amazing. How are you, bro?
There it is.
You're on mute, my man.
Yo, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Always good, bro. Always good. Good to speak. I mean, as I said, you've been a member of The Truth for a long time now, and me and Corey have single-handedly and aside each other seen the growth that you've had to a level where you're now doing your own thing and teaching as well, within our amazing platform called The Truth. What would you say The Truth has done for you, mainly in terms of your growth?
Well, I'd say it's been a very powerful and life-changing 5 months. I started probably a bit lost, I was unsure. I was between things. I had a lot of fronts. My parents always used to say, like, you're doing all these things, but when's the time to sort of settle and actually find what you really want to do and where you want to go forward? And I think throughout my time on the course and on the Discord, meeting all these people, speaking to you guys, and with your assistance and guidance, I think I've finally come into a place where I'm becoming a really well-rounded and balanced character, and that I know exactly in what direction I want to go and where I want to push and what goals I have. And yeah, that's thanks to development over these last few months.
Yeah, and obviously we've got our system in place, and we are there to help. And the amazing thing about us, and the truth that I love, not only myself but with Corey and the team as well, is that we genuinely have a huge passion for helping people and allowing people to understand the truth. So seeing like you develop and implement and actually take the initiative to do that yourself is amazing from our position. In terms of, we've just talked a lot about freeing your mind and becoming free in your psychology or in your psychological aspect. What are you really kind of thinking over the course of the call we've just had, in terms of any questions or things that are on your mind?
I think because I sort of have a direction and goals and where I'm going to, as I was saying before, but I'm not too sure on where I see myself in. Let's say I know where I see myself in a year, maybe, after, because I'm interested in gym and starting businesses. But in 20 years or 30 years, I'm not really sure where I see myself ending up and where like sort of my final purpose is. So what would you say is sort of a good direction to go with for that? And like, sort of focusing on an end goal, but obviously it's never really ending, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, amazing. So for me, purpose is huge, but it's not a case of having to force it. Now you have them 3 or 4 things that really inspire you to keep working hard and open their businesses and run their businesses. And we talked about it going back here in terms of the discipline and the good habits we build. Because when you actually achieve the self-development, right now you're in a core building phase, and you're building the core to every single thing you're going to do, what I like to call your empire, right? Because every man should have his empire. So you're building the core to your empire. For me, the most important thing that you can do is, if you're still not sure 100% in what direction you want to go, right? It's like not knowing 100% when the war's going to start. So what can you do? You can get the best ammunition, you can get the best preparation and train as hard as you can, that when that day comes up and you need to go to war, that you're ready for it. So what you're going to do is work as hard as you can on your internal development and becoming the best possible human you can. And then you can start throwing fire flames over and testing out waters and really pushing yourself in different situations. But that purpose will come, and when it comes, you'll be able to use it to just excel yourself more and more and more. And people look for a massive external purpose. Oh, I want to save the world, I want to do this. Take me, for example. My purpose is simply providing for the people around me. My purpose is to be the best man, the best future husband, and the best future father to my kids and my woman that I can be. So a lot of our purpose can run in simplistic things, but it really fuels us to do great things. And if you keep implementing the way you have been within the truth and the way Corey and I have seen you grow, then I have no doubt that purpose will, alongside your internal growth and where you're heading, in the direction you're heading, will leave you with good things. I mean, we have a few people here, and we'll have a lot more people watching this over the course of the next few days, and hopefully on a long basis as well. But what would you say is to them the importance of getting inside the truth and what it will do for them as people?
I think one of the key features of the course and the program is the accountability sort of side of it, where if you're trying to go on some journey by yourself, you're alone, which is, if you do manage to get somewhere, it's impressive. But I think the truth really helps you stay on your path, stay on your journey. You can steer off a bit, but I think you guys and everyone else in the truth, and even the members around you, everyone's pushing each other. And I think it helps streamline you and your goals and your direction and help you stay on track. Yeah, and that's my favorite part, because I think it's really allowed me to focus my efforts in a few things and keep going for a long period of time, and longer than I've ever managed to keep my focus on things before.
I want to hit on something that you said there. You called it a course, and then you said your favorite feature was the accountability in the community. I think that's a really important distinction, because people think of course or program, and they just think of, oh, it's just by myself. I'm just going to look at this thing. It is a community. It is an environmental, like everyone is inside boosting energy off of each other. They're bouncing energy off of each other, and that creates that spiral upwards to where we literally can't fail, because any questions you have are answered. Other people have gone through the exact same thing you're trying to go through and can give you advice. And if you're trying to do it by yourself, like you're cutting yourself short, and you're lengthening the amount of time that it's going to take to learn that exact same thing. And time is the only truly limited thing we have in this universe. So surrounding yourself with people, inside of people who have done what you've done and can keep you accountable and hold you to that, is going to allow you to go farther, as obviously you've seen, Nav, than you could ever expect to by yourself, either without that accountability for discipline or without that accountability for knowledge.
Yeah, it's so true. It's such good points. And I mean, Nav, thanks for joining as well. It's really good to have you in here, and
thank you for having me.
For people to get an inside perspective as well as to what the truth is. So thank you for that, bro. Corey, just to wrap it up, I think we've given a lot of information. Like, we talk in almost our own intellectual language that a lot of people won't accept to understand, because they want to be, as I say, ignorant to facts. If you had to keep it really short, sweet, and basic for someone to understand, what would you say is the next step and the action that they need to take to really take control and ownership of their mind?
The cop-out answer is join the truth. Like, we've literally laid it out for you step by step, to get to that next level. But if I was gonna not give you the cop-out answer, I'd say go back to what we said earlier, which is just make that decision. If you don't ever make the decision, you don't ever realize that no one is coming to save you, and it's up to you to start that process, then nothing's ever going to get done. It's like anything you do, you actually have to make the decision to improve upon, or else it's never going to do.
I am going to use the cop-out answer, because what you said, any piece of advice we can actually give someone, the best place to understand it fully and to take action on it is inside of the truth. It is literally the most beneficial place for a man looking to improve his life can be in. And whether that's taking your life from a level 9 to a level 10, or starting and getting a jump off of level 0, whatever that level is you're trying to achieve, it, there's no better place for it. So I am going to use the cop-out answer, and I'm going to say, if you're a man that is trying to improve your life in any and every aspect, there is no better place to be inside than the truth, because you'll get a full understanding and be able to implement, with the guidance and assistance of people who have done it, not only completed it, but achieved a high level of success within it. So for me, I'm going to wrap it up and cop out and say, if you are not inside the truth, you're massively missing out. Corey, thank you so much again for joining and giving your wisdom. That's a thank you for everyone, because I get the pleasure of speaking to you very often, but not a lot of people have access to information that people like me and you have to offer, that have just worked on ourselves constantly. And to anyone else watching in the comments that have been involved, thank you for joining and thank you for watching. Make sure you're tuned in for all of our meetings. And if you are not inside of the truth, there is a free section, at least, for you to get inside, take some free value, take it away into your normal lives, and go and live your normal lives. If you are ready to take serious action, I will see you inside the truth, where you have full access to me and Corey, and we'll see you inside, and I look forward to it very much. So until next time, we are out. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.